Hey everyone! So in today's video, I'm going to show you my everyday minimal makeup routine that makes me go from this to this in under 10 minutes using mostly affordable products. So let's dive right in. I've already prepped my skin with these products, so now let's directly move to makeup. So first, I'm using a primer that will help create a smooth base and make my makeup last longer. This primer is pore filling and sits beautifully under my makeup. Do you see how well it's working to reduce the appearance of my pores? Quick shout out to this brush set from Tipsy Beauty. It's super compact, but it has every brush you'll need, and I've been obsessed since the day I got it. Now for the base, I'm starting off with the Tinted Serum foundation from L'Oreal Paris. The shade that I'm using is 3 to 4 light medium, which is a perfect match for my skin tone and undertone. Once it's blended out, it literally looks like my skin but better. You'll see in just a bit. You can blend this out with your hands or a brush, but personally, I've seen cleaner results with a brush, so that's what I'd recommend using. After everything's nice and blended out, this is how my base looks. For a skin tint, the coverage of this is actually pretty insane. Next, let's cover up those dark circles with some concealer. I'm using the L'Oreal Paris Full Coverage Concealer in the shade Amber. So I'm applying a little concealer under my eyes to conceal those dark circles, and also using it for spot correction to hide any acne marks that might still be showing. After letting it sit for a few seconds, I'm blending it out with a concealer brush. Always remember, you need to pat and not drag your fingers or brush while blending out the concealer. I know this shade might look a little yellow on me right now, but I promise once it's perfectly blended and set into the skin, it does look like a good match. And that's the finished base with the skin tint and the concealer. At this point, if you want to set your face or under eyes with powder, you can totally do that, but it's completely optional. Time to add some color back to the face, so I'm using this beautiful blush from Fey Beauty in the shade Wifey. This shade of blush is so pretty. It gives a natural flush to your cheeks like you're actually blushing. Plus, it has a serum-like finish, so the application is really smooth and blendable. Can you see how just a hint of blush can make your makeup come alive? I like to add a touch of blush on my nose as well to make it look more natural, and it just completes the look for me. The base is looking pretty solid after adding the blush, so now let's make ourselves glow with an amazing highlighter. This Rose Gold Liquid Highlighter from Swiss Beauty gives that natural rosy glow to the face without overloading your face with glitter. I like to apply it at the high points of my cheeks, the bridge of my nose, and a little bit under my brow bone as well for that subtle glow. Moving on to the eyes, I'm using this eyeshadow palette from Mars, which has all the shades I might possibly want for an everyday look. So first I'm using this light brown, almost beige shade all over my eyelids as a base. Next, I'm adding this warm brown shade to my crease for some depth and definition, and repeating the entire process for the other eye. And now my favorite part, lining the eyes with a black eyeshadow. I'm using the small angle brush from PAC to create a precise wing. Honestly, these days I've been loving using a black eyeshadow as my eyeliner instead of going with kajal or a liquid eyeliner. If you want to try this, I highly recommend using this brush. It makes the process so much simpler. Can you see how sharp that wing looks? To finish the eye look, I'm first curling my lashes using this lash curler. Just this step is enough to make your eyes look bigger and appear more awake. Just look at that. Sometimes I just stop at this step to finish my eye look, but if you want, you can even add a mascara for longer, fuller lashes. Today I'm using the Clinique High Impact Full Volume Mascara to add more length and volume to my lashes. I'm still getting the hang of using a mascara, but every time I've used this product, I've always loved the end result. And with that, the eye makeup is completed. So let's move to the final step to finish the makeup look. For my everyday lip, I prefer using pinky peachy shades that suit my skin tone. And today I'm using the Maybelline Vinyl Ink Liquid Lipstick in the shade Irresistible. This has been my favorite shade since the time it was launched, though the only complaint I have is that the finish could be a bit better. If your skin shade is similar to mine, you've got to try this shade. I'm sure you'll love it. And that's the end to my everyday minimal makeup look. I hope you enjoyed watching my step-by-step routine and got some inspiration for your own. Also, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want to see more makeup and skincare related content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!